Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most critical moments in any hotel stay, the checkout. We're going to break down the complete standard operating procedure for settling a guest's account at the front office.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll hit on why this moment is so important. Then we'll get into the real nitty-gritty, prepping the bill, going over it with the guest, handling the payment, and then wrapping it all up. Each step is a chance to end their stay on a high note.
Okay, first things first. Why are we dedicating so much time to this? Well, checkout is so much more than just a transaction, right? It's really the final act of hospitality, the last thing a guest experiences. Getting this moment right is, well, it's absolutely crucial.
When you nail the checkout process, you're actually hitting 4 really important goals. You're making sure all charges are correct, which stops revenue from just walking out the door. You're giving the guest a clear, transparent bill, which builds a ton of trust. And when you do it all well, you leave them with a fantastic, positive final impression.
So how do we pull off that perfect checkout? Here's the thing. It actually starts before the guest even walks up to your desk. It all begins with the guest folio, their master bill for the entire stay. And when it comes to the folio, accuracy is everything. These are your opening moves to get the ball rolling. It starts simple, a warm greeting, confirming they're checking out. Then you dive into the property management system, the PMS. You do a quick but really thorough review of everything: room, tax, restaurant charges, laundry, and you've got to be on the lookout for any pending charges that haven't posted yet. You need the full story.
Now here's something you'll see all the time, especially with corporate guests: the folio split. It sounds a little technical, but trust me, it's not. It's really just a way of separating the charges so the right person or company pays for the right things.
And the process couldn't be easier. First, you check the billing instructions on file. Then you literally move the charges the company is covering, like the room and tax, to their own bill. All the extras, the minibar, room service, that stays on the guest's personal bill. This just makes everything crystal clear and avoids any confusion.
All right, the bill is ready and it's accurate. Now we shift gears from the prep work to the actual guest interaction. This is where your professionalism and clear communication really shine and help build that final layer of trust.
This question right here, it might be the single most important one you ask. Seriously, posing it this way acts like a safety net. It's your last chance to catch any of those unposted last-minute charges, and it prevents those really awkward phone calls later on.
And you know what? It pays to be specific. Instead of just a generic question, prompt them. Ask about the minibar or breakfast this morning. It shows you're paying attention, and it's amazing how often it helps jog a guest's memory.
And this is a big one. Always present the final bill to the guest for them to look at. Whether you turn a screen towards them or hand them a printout, let them see the itemized list. That transparency is just non-negotiable. It gives them a chance to ask questions, and you need to be ready to answer. Okay, the guest has given the thumbs up on the bill. Now it's time to process the payment. Getting this step right is absolutely essential. We're not just collecting money, we're protecting the guest's data and securing the hotel's revenue.
So the big question is, how are they paying? Credit card, cash, is it being billed directly to their company? Each path has its own set of rules you've got to follow. Let's quickly go over the most common ones.
Think of this as your quick mental checklist. It simplifies what you need to do for each payment type. For a credit card, you're matching the name. For a company bill, you're confirming that AR number. For a large cash payment, you're following your hotel's policy on ID. Simple.
Now for credit cards, which you'll see most often, it's a very precise process. You verify the details, you make sure your pre-authorization covers the final amount, you process the charge, and, this is critical, you get that signature and actually compare it to the back of the card. Following these steps every time is your best defense against fraud and chargebacks.
Now listen up, because this is a golden rule. Even when a company is paying the bill, you must get the guest's signature on that final folio. Why? Because that signature is the guest's final approval of the charges. It prevents the company from disputing the bill later. It's a vital piece of documentation.
All right, the payment is processed. We're in the home stretch, but we're not done yet. These final steps are what take a simple transaction and turn it into a truly seamless departure. This is where you lock in that lasting positive impression. So what are these final actions? It's a mix of great guest service and smart operations. You give them a receipt, a sincere thank you, and wish them well. Then, immediately, you update the system. Changing that room status to vacant is the trigger for housekeeping to get started, which helps the next guest check in on time. You see?
It's all connected.
But what happens if a charge pops up after the guest has already left? Hey, it happens. There's a procedure for that. You adjust the bill, process the charge, and, this is the most important part, you always send a copy of the updated folio to the guest with a clear explanation. Transparency, even after they've gone, is key.
So when you boil it all down, it's pretty simple. Every single step we've talked about serves one of two vital purposes. An accurate checkout protects the hotel's money, but a smooth, friendly, transparent checkout, that protects the hotel's reputation. Both are just as important.
And that's our explainer on guest account settlement. So I'll just leave you with that final question to think about. Because in this business, a great first impression might make them a guest, but it's that flawless last impression that turns them into a regular.